Hey guys, it's Caroline from Chaos Theory, and today I want to do a little segment called Reality or Fiction. And today our topic is the Winchester Mystery House. Now, anybody who knows me knows that this is like my Disneyland, okay guys? I love this place. I went there when I was 9. I was captivated by it. I keep looking at documentaries about it, movies, TV shows, ghost hunting experiments. And I finally got the book, Captive of the Labyrinth. And it really explains a lot because there's a lot of fiction about the Winchester Mystery House. So we're going to dive into what's real and what's not. So, Winchester Mystery House, where is it, first of all, right? For those who don't know, it's in San Jose, California. It was bought in 1886 by Sarah Winchester. She was the heir to the Winchester Repeating Arms Company. So she had a lot of money coming in because the Winchesters were very famous for their gun that won the West, right? So she had a lot of money coming in. So Sarah was born in 1839 in Connecticut, and she died in 1922 in California. Now, during this period, she was married to William Worth Winchester, who was the heir to the company, and William passed away in 1881. They got married in 1862. They had one daughter named Annie, who unfortunately passed away a month after she was born in 1866. So Sarah had a lot of tragedies with her daughter and her husband passing away. Now, the legend goes that when Sarah's husband passed away, she started doing seances and talking to spiritualists and trying to talk to her husband to see what he wanted to do. Fact is not exactly as fun as that. So the fact is, Sarah, after her husband passed away, suffered from rheumatoid arthritis really, really badly. And her doctor prescribed a hotter climate. So she just had to move out of Connecticut to make sure that she could take care of her ailments. So she remembered that she had gone to San Francisco and really liked California. So, like I said, in 1886, she bought a 8-room farmhouse. It had 2 stories, and it was on 45 acres. She called this place, not the Winchester Mystery House, she called it La Nada Villa. La Nada is a place in Spain that she had visited, and she loved it, so she decided to call her new home that. So the legend goes that she bought this house to appease the spirits that all the people that died from this Winchester rifle. Is it true? Is it not? I'll leave that up to you guys to decide what you think. But we know that she bought it. And by 1896, she started building more up and up onto the house. So the 45 acres, by the end of her life, ended up being 160 acres. So she built a lot, and you'll see we'll put pictures of the house in the video. So we went from 8 rooms, and guys, by the time that she finished in 1922, there were 160 rooms. And I had to write these down because there's a lot. 13 bathrooms, 2 ballrooms, 6 kitchens, 2 different basements, 40 bedrooms, 40 staircases, 47 fireplaces, 17 chimneys, 2,000 doors, 10 1,000 windows and 3 elevators. Like, this is amazing, this house. So big. And it really is a labyrinth or a maze, because if you're not following the guide, you don't know where to go. It gets very confusing, this house. So, the only original part of the house, and you'll see it in the pictures, is that front staircase from the farmhouse is still in the Winchester Mystery House. That's the only part of the original house that's left. Because other than that, she built everything. So like I said, in 1896, she started building more stories. And the highest building that she made was the tower. The tower was 7 stories high, guys. And did you guys know that she had to rebuild it 16 times? She was never satisfied with it. So she rebuilt and rebuilt and rebuilt. So one of the stories that came up during my research, and the first thing the guides tell you, is when Sarah built this house, she built it 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. That's baloney, okay? The fact of the matter is, there were long periods of time where Sarah did not build anything on the house, okay? She herself was really into design and architecture, so she designed most of what we see in the house. Now, I told you that the house was a little weird. So there are doors that open to nothing. There are doors that open to walls. There are staircases that go up to the ceiling. There's a famous staircase called the Switchback Staircase, which has 44 stairs that go up 7 times and only go up 10 feet. Little weird, right? But remember, Sarah had arthritis, and really bad arthritis. So the fact that the stairs were really, really small helped her, okay? Then the stairs going up to the ceiling, like, what's that about? Okay, so the guides will tell you it was to, confuse the spirits, so they didn't know where to go, and they got mixed up in the house, and they didn't follow Sarah around. So what they'll tell you during the tour is that Sarah lived as a recluse in that house. So Sarah did live in the house for a while, but she didn't actually live there from 1907 till a few weeks before her death in 1922. She actually had many other properties. So like I said, Sarah made a lot of money. She made about $1,000 a day from these Winchester rifles, okay? Back in those days, that was a lot of money. She had different properties. She bought a whole block in San Jose. She bought different houses in Connecticut and California, and she was a great philanthropist. She gave thousands and thousands, hundreds of thousands of dollars to anybody in need, any kind of tragedy that happened. And let's remember, in 1906, there was that really big earthquake in San Francisco. The house got partially destroyed in 1906. Now, the story goes, again, the legend says that Sarah was trapped in the house in 1906 when the earthquake hit. Guys, she wasn't in the house. She was in another house. She wasn't even there. So the legend goes that she boarded up some rooms because they were just too badly gone. And she told her carpenters and her laborers, just keep going and keep building. The fact of the matter is between 1906 and 1916, the only thing that was done to the house was cosmetic. Because of the earthquake, the tower had gone down, so they rebuilt the tower. But there was a lot of stuff that got destroyed that were just cosmetically patched up, if you will. So that famous door to nowhere, that everybody's like, why would she build a door and it's super dangerous. There was probably a balcony at some point out there. And after the earthquake hit, they just decided to not rebuild the balcony and to shut the door, and that was it. And so it became the door to nowhere. Now, the staircase that goes up to the ceiling, and you'll see this picture, pretty strange. But why would you build that? It makes no sense at all, right? What if I told you that there was probably another story at that point where the ceiling was, and because things got destroyed, they just decided to cap it off there? Sarah didn't do any huge renovations during this time. And in 1916, the only thing that she added to the house were 3 elevators because she needed them whenever she went to go into the house. So like I said, between 1907, 1922, like a couple of weeks before she passed away, probably during the summertime, she started living back into the house. So at that point, that whole period, she was not living in the house. She was in an it was, I think, called Atherton. Okay, so it was another house. She was living there. And I think, from what I've heard, it was just as extravagant over there. But it's the time, guys. It's the Victorian period. Everything had to be fancy. So a lot of people think, look at this architecture. What was she thinking? But that was the period, guys. So it's kind of normal. In 1922, in June, she started living back in the house because she wanted to be close to her doctor. She really was not feeling well. Her arthritis was getting worse, so she moved back into the house. And on September 5th, 1922, she passed away in one of the bedrooms. The story goes that she died and, her spirit is still around, and ghost hunting videos will show, people going into her room and talking to her. Maybe she's still around. Who knows? I mean, I believe that spirits can linger. But there's a lot of stuff that was said about Sarah that wasn't true. So is this kind of like a placebo effect where people are thinking that she's here and we're conjuring up this kind of energy that's not really Sarah? It could be. I don't know. But the fact of the matter is, Sarah, in her life, did believe in spiritualism. Absolutely. Again, that was the period. There was no proof that she did any seances in the house. Okay? From the book that I have, a lot of her intimate family, so her niece who lived with her in the house for a period of time, her sister, and her foreman all said that she was just a very nice lady, always happy, always. She wasn't doing anything strange, anything out of the ordinary. And so all of this story came up after Sarah passed away. So the story of her preventing a president from entering the house and being a recluse and not wanting anybody in the house, and not true. Like I said, she didn't live in the house for long periods of time, so that doesn't make any sense. For her to have a seance room. So the seance room you'll see in a picture is a blue and white room, and they'll tell you, oh, it's a strange room because there's a lot of ways to get into it. There's a secret entrance, and there are 13 hooks in the room, and like number 7, number 11, and number 13 are huge numbers in the house. There are 13 candles on the chandeliers. In a window, there's 13 little circles in a spider web that she came up with. Like, all of these numbers keep coming up. But the fact of the matter is, her seance room is actually her gardener's bedroom. So the seance room is not really a seance room. So all of these things came up after her death, and they were really started by the person, John Brown, who bought the house. It took him a few months to buy the house, and as soon as he got the house, so I think it took 6 months, after he got the house, he turned it into an attraction. He decided, this house is weird, this house is strange, let's do something about it, let's make something out of this. So he literally called it the Winchester Mystery House 6 months after her death. Now, This is where I want us to kind of determine what's true and what's not true. So it is true that Sarah believed in spiritualism, and having lost her daughter and her husband, she was probably finding a way to communicate with them. Absolutely. Did she do it in her house? I have no clue. But the fact of the matter is, her seance room was never a seance room. The number 13 comes up. Okay, maybe she liked the number 13. Like, we all have our favorite numbers. The one thing that's the strangest in all of this, though, is this woman who had thousands and thousands of dollars every day. She had a huge safe in the house. And the only thing they found in that safe were the 2 obituaries for her daughter and her husband, and each of their locks of hair. Pretty strange, right? For a woman who had all this money, that's all that was in her safe. But what is great about Sarah, and what we have to remember, is she was a visionary. She really had this idea of what she wanted this house to become. And yes, it's strange, and yes, it's beautiful, and it's a Victorian mansion in all its glory. The ballroom, guys, like one of the ballrooms, the floor, like you cannot walk with shoes on this floor. It is spotless. It is pristine. So she put a lot of time and effort into her house. She was proud of her house, probably. But it turned into like this attraction of, oh, let's go visit the Winchester Mystery House because there are staircases that go up to the ceiling, and then there are doors that open to nothing. What was this woman thinking? But when you think about this woman being a visionary, she had an irrigation system done outside for her garden. She came up with an intercom system for the house. She had running water, electricity inside the house in the early 1900s. Most houses didn't have that. So she wanted her house to have all this beautiful stuff in it. And yes, okay, the earthquake hit. She wasn't going to rebuild everything. She wasn't even living in the house. So what was the point of rebuilding? So let's just, okay, so there's a door opening to a wall. Whatever, just keep the door. It's just easier that way. So what I want you guys, and if you guys want to look into it, there's the Winchester movie, which I'm iffy about because they really go off the lore. They really go off the idea that she was this recluse who stayed in her house and had seances between midnight and 2 a.m. and the bell tower rang, and they really feed into the story that the guides will tell you when you go to the house. But if you can get your hands on this book, Captive of the Labyrinth, and you can look at... Oh, show the book. Sorry. He wants me to show the book. So if you guys can get your hands on this book, it's really the way to discard from facts and fiction. And it gives you all this insight that I didn't know. Like when I went to the house, I just thought, oh my God, maybe this woman was a little cuckoo. Like, why would she build these things? Then when you realize, oh, okay, well, the earthquake hit and like the chimney went down. Well, she didn't rebuild it, so she just put up a wall. And so that things happen. But anyways, guys, I just wanted to give you guys a little bit of feedback, a little bit of information about the Winchester Mystery House. Look into the documentaries, look into fun facts about the house. If you guys ever go to California and go to San Jose, definitely stop by. It's worth it. And don't forget to like and subscribe, guys, okay? And we'll do other videos real soon. Catch you later. Bye.